This is 2002's Scream Queen. After a reminder of the quality cinema choices brought to us by Sterling Entertainment, we get sexy massage time. No, strike that. Sexy killing time. Well, I guess that means it's not so sexy behind the scenes movie time.
You call that a scream?
If I had a nickel for every time I said that, I'd have about 5 nickels. Don't ask. After comparing their Scream Queen credentials, Melissa Toombs and Christine Hart have a battle of egos over who's the star of the film, leading to one hell of a read.
You do some little nude shower scene in some cheesy film that's shot on video in some guy's basement in Ohio or something.
Wait, Howard the Duck directed movies? I might need a second to reevaluate things. Melissa has an
"I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!"
moment and drives away, just to explode off camera. In the midst of mourning, a news station plays what might be the greatest takeoff of "These Boots Are Made for Walking" I've ever witnessed.
One of these days this chainsaw's gonna cut a hole in you.
The cast and crew drift away from the now-defunct project to follow other various interests. Director Eric Orloff spends his days watching dailies of Scream Queen and its kills, including this inspired motorboating/murder combo that could have changed the face of horror. One day, all of them receive anonymous letters inviting them to a mansion for dinner with no other explanation.
As an original member of the Scream Queen production team, you're cordially invited to a meeting concerning the completion of this film.
And they're greeted by the ever-accommodating Runyon.
I am Runyon. I tend to the house.
Where have I seen this before?
I am Torgo. I take care of the place while the master is away.
And I gotta tell you, this dinner is about as warm fuzzy as your typical extended family Thanksgiving. It turns out that Melissa is alive, and the movie is back on track despite her accusations of attempted murder. As long as they stay at the house and finish the movie, every single one of them gets $10,000. After a tagline worthy of note,
Scream Queen is mysteriously resurrected in new film.
they raise a toast to 10K and finishing this weird movie. With only 3 guest rooms, everyone gets a roommate, with Bud getting the most interesting one.
You can room with me, Bud, as long as 3 is not a crowd.
After the appearance of a random shadow and one very shocked-looking Elvira wall, everyone suddenly gets bit by the horny bug, with hopeful exception of Squib. Jenny comes out of the closet for sexy roleplay with Devin. Christine and Bud get into some intimate line reading, and Eric has a passionate time with a bottle of port. It turns out that the shadow wasn't so random, as it takes out each crew member, and I'm not sure if it's based on revenge, or maybe Militia couldn't pony up 10K for every individual person. Over the course of the next few minutes, Jenny is fitted with a custom chainsaw choker that's to die for, and Devin is killed in unthinkable ways. That happened off camera. Junior has clearly had enough of Squib's shit and shows them some real gore effects with a scalpel. Christine and Bud are so deep in practicing their lines that they don't hear the commotion. A deep philosophical discussion over the word making love is interrupted by Squib politely knocking to show off Junior's excellent makeup job, but their reaction makes me think that this wasn't their cup of tea. I leave you here to survive the week and collect your 10K if you can. While you're at it, you can work through some of the many questions you probably have regarding the last bit of this lost SOV. Most of them probably do involve the buying of an LP of This Chainsaw's Made for Cutting, which unfortunately, I can't help you with. 2002's Scream Queen is a meta-horror SOV directed by Brad Sykes and starring horror movie legend Linnea Quigley, see Courtney Joyner, Kurt Levy, and Emily Jo Tisdale. Now, before we go too much further, I need to mention that Linnea does actually star in this. Not just a star in quotes the way you get in a lot of low-budget movies. She's not in the whole thing, but she doesn't just appear in a scene tacked on to get more butts and seats, or some random shot taken from another movie that shows up on a background TV. In fact, this was written to reflect the state of the horror industry at the time, focusing on actresses in Linnea's position as, quote, past their prime Scream Queens. It follows what what we generally accept as a classic slasher plot, with all the twists and turns that come with it. Think Scream without 99.999% of the budget and a dash of giallo. It was filmed in 1998 and put out on home video in the early 2000s, but quickly fell off the map and became a sort of lost piece of horror media. Visual Vengeance brought it back last year and spruced it up with all the extras befitting a scream queen of Linnea Quigley's reputation. I found out about this one from the always awesome Seth from the Hellbound Horror Show. He talked in depth about this one and it really piqued my interest to see for myself. My forays into SOV have been interesting, and this one was no different. Linnea knows her shit and shines when she's on camera. Kurt Levy did a great job as a creepy caretaker, adding the right amount of malice and mystique. And I may be alone in this one, but I really enjoyed the goofy moments, especially between Squibb and Junior. The rest of the cast did what was needed and were mostly solid. The filming was interesting. I was left feeling a little claustrophobic given how tight some of the shooting was, especially out front. Lighting and sound quality kinda left me wanting, but a lot of SOVs suffer in these departments, and this was no different. The line between atmospheric darkness and too dark is incredibly clear here. Now, looking at this through the lens of 2024, you could say that it's a been there, done that idea. But for the time, it feels like a pretty fresh concept. But ask if it was done to its fullest ability, and I'd say not as much as it could have been. There is a great idea here, and given everything, there are some moments of really quality execution. But as a whole, it feels like there's something missing from this. But the big question remains, is it worth a watch? The answer is absolutely, as long as the technical aspects of a low-budget SOV don't put you off. The story is fun, the gore is pretty well played, and despite uneven pacing, it's a quick watch at around 80 minutes. Come for this chainsaw is made for cutting, and stay for Linnea Quigley. You can find it on Tubi, or go for the whole enchilada with the Blu-ray release from Video Vengeance. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and a sarcastic killer mannequin of my own would be appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching.